So, I am going to talk about visual merchandising. This workshop is a two-part workshop, so visual merchandising is the topic for today. Here is a little overview of what I would like to talk about today, some goals that I think is important in every workshop to just draw attention to. Then I give a short introduction about myself and what visual merchandising is. Give a definition and work with you on some elements from visual merchandising. And after that, we have a discussion. Goals. So with the presentation information I give you today, I hope that I can introduce a new topic to you guys. You have a sense or an idea of key elements of visual merchandising and what visual merchandising is. You are aware of the presence of marketing tools in everyday life, because visual merchandising is actually around us in our everyday life when we go to the grocery store. I hope that you learn more about yourself. I hope you understand your own appearance in person and also remotely. You show the best version of yourself and you get inspired to work more efficiently, think outside the box, and have more pleasure working. I hope that you concentrate on the positive rather than the negative. Let's start with a short introduction. So I'm Peter Husemann Odem. I recently just moved to the States. I have more than 15 years of experience in the fashion and retail and wholesale world. So let's give you guys a definition. Visual merchandising actually consists of interior design and merchandising, which is a part of buying, a part of assortment and figuring out the right product for your store. And interior design, of course, I think we're all familiar with, is a three-dimensional space. A space usually has a door, or it doesn't have a door, but usually has windows. So it's like a space with four walls that we move around in. And I would like to give you two different definitions, one for interior design and one for visual merchandising. Interior design is the art of practice of planning and supervising the design and execution of architectural interiors and their furnishings in order to create a purposeful space and an ambience of well-being. So the human factor in this is very, very important. So you always think as an interior designer about the human moving in that space. So what is the purpose of that space? Would I like to sell something? Would I like to sell furniture? Am I just living in this space? Is it a living room? Is it a kitchen? Do I have everything that serves the purpose of preparing food? And of course, the ambience of well-being. The air has to be right, the light has to be right, the smell has to be right. So kind of all the senses. So this huge package of interior design influences visual merchandising in a big time. What is visual merchandising? Visual merchandising is a marketing practice that uses floor plans, color, lighting, displays, technology, and other elements to attract customer attention. Its ultimate purpose is to use the retail space to generate more sales. So we talked about interior design and moving around in the space, having four walls that kind of define that space. And then we have products in that space with merchandising. And visual merchandising is actually trying to figure out, how can I show this product and how can the space around it, the environment, make this product look the best way possible. So figuring out all the benefits and positive things about this product. What would I like to know about this product? So we just focus on the positive, and that's really a key element of visual merchandising. We like to draw customers, or just in general humans, you'd like to draw them to that product and just wanting to have that product. And so we figure out a way to attract the customer's attention or attract the human's attention and draw all the attention to this product. And visual merchandising uses different elements, which we're going to talk about later. But here I just pointed out floor plans, colors, lighting. So lighting is very important, and different technologies like screens. I think in stores or in malls, screens and different elements that draw your attention. So that's visual merchandising. To go one step further, try to draw it in with more examples. So here I have two bubbles. One actually stands for interior design and the other one for visual merchandising. So I guess it's kind of clear that what is what. I mean, we usually don't have displays in interior design. So Interior design is on the left side and visual merchandising is on the right side. And as I explained to you already before, when we combine those two together, it actually creates something new. And that's actually in the middle. So in the middle, I try to put both together. We try to tell a story. I was referencing earlier to the one product that we have in this three-dimensional space. So we like to tell a story about that particular item. And this space can be a window, place can be a showroom, this space can be a classroom. Whatever it is going to be, this visual merchandising interior design tries to really show all the benefits of this particular product. Let's go on. In a corporate environment, I thought it would be also interesting to show you guys where is actually visual merchandising situated, to show you like kind of a company structure or an example. So usually you would have a general manager in a fashion brand or any other brand. And then you, of course, have the secretary, which is spelled wrong. I'm sorry about that. And then you have different environments. So you have the retail spaces, of course, with the buying department, retail stores, and the online shop. This is kind of what we experience as customers. Then you have the wholesale side, where actually a fashion brand would sell to other retail stores and then like kind of distribute their product to other markets. So we all know a Neiman Marcus, we know a Saks Fifth Avenue. So they actually are wholesale customers of a fashion brand. And then, of course, they have customer service because they maybe want to exchange products and so back and forth. Then you, of course, have the whole administration part in a company, which is human resources, facility management, accounting, and controlling, and so on. And then you have the marketing part. And the marketing part is where visual merchandising is situated. So you have usually a general idea of the brand, like an art direction, who thinks about branding of the brand. Then we have PR, who usually works with magazines in order to give them products to show in their new editorials. And then we have digital marketing, which is very, very big right now, and in general, brand advertising management. And in that whole category, we have visual merchandising. Also influenced by visual merchandising, because visual merchandising, of course, has to present a product in a space, is product development. So product development, I situated design, production, and logistics to it. So of course, we need to produce a product that we would like to show in a retail environment. And visual merchandising uses this product that design actually creates, and sometimes they also create a story, and tries to transfer that to the retail space. The visual merchandising part also has a structure, and this is the structure that I experience in most of the companies. So visual merchandising usually has like a head of, then they have a person that is responsible for window design, then they have a person that is responsible for in-store design, so everything that's inside the store. Then they usually have a graphic person and a project manager that makes sure that the window designs come to all the stores in time, that everyone knows what is going on in the stores. So that is visual merchandising. I think it's very important to know a little bit about the retail history in order to understand where we are today and why visual merchandising is important and why we are actually engaged with it every day in our life. So I would like to take you back to the 19th century. So there are different sources, and I'm actually currently writing a paper about that, about the history of retail design. But I didn't want to go way too far back. But around 1800, there were like the first arcades in Paris, France, where you saw a variety of shops that actually gave customers the opportunity to shop products, and they had window displays, get an idea of all the products that were available in that city during that time. So usually there were like, before that, you had different markets, but they always traveled from one city to the other. But this passage in Paris was kind of the first idea to create an environment that's constantly there. So retailers try to market their products the best way possible. It was very convenient located. It was close to the Place Vendôme, which is really in the center of Paris. And by 1850, there were so many different, I think about 150 different passages in Paris with stores where customers could shop. Later, they opened, it's funny, it's also in France, they opened their first department store, the Bon Marché. It's a fabulous big department store. It opened in 1838. And then we have the other department store, which recently reopened, Printemps, which is opened 1865. So those were stores where you could actually buy everything for your daily life. And that was very revolutionary during that time. And the Industrial Revolution took place in England during that time, and products were more available for everyone. So, of course, there was more money and people wanted to shop and kind of have these products in their homes. This is an example how they used to dress during that time, which I think is also very interesting to see the change over time and over history, how people dressed and what they could actually buy in those stores. So usually there were like tailors that tailored suits for men. And of course, the dresses were all custom made. So it's not really this idea of ready in different sizes. It was more like ateliers. And in these passages and department stores during that time, women were actually congregating freely. So they were able to move around, and otherwise that was not possible. So it was kind of a center for social activities during that time. 1879, where we have the first kind of chain stores. Woolworth is like a 5-cent store. Our first one opened in Lancaster, and they were actually pioneers in figuring out the whole merchandising idea. So kind of having the right product at the right time and selling those to their customers. It has been actually one of the most largest retail chain throughout the 20th century for most of the time. We actually had some in Germany too. In 1920, the Roaring Twenties, I think we're all familiar with that. People dressed more casually, as you would say. So there was a big need for new fashion ideas and new dresses. And it was also the time of Chanel. So department stores actually hosted fashion stores. So once again, department stores were really trying to figure out how can we get customers to our store and how can we show more product into bigger audiences. It was the golden age of haute couture, so most of the French fashion houses opened up. Once again, it's Chanel, Vionnet, Schiaparelli, which are still brands that are accessible today. Then in the States in 1907, Neiman Marcus opened their first store, and it was kind of this new idea and new era of how to dress and how to actually consume fashion and consumer goods. 1950, the first shopping malls opened. It was kind of the birth of the mall culture, like in general, more here in the States. And the first pedestrian mall actually opened in Northgate Shopping Center in Seattle, which I thought was very interesting. 1960, like smaller boutiques were opening up, so kind of moving away from the whole mall idea. And it was a retail design that was run by individuals. So it's kind of the idea that we mainly know today of multi-label stores that open up to customers different from department stores. So they are usually small stores that sell stylish clothing, jewelry, or other usually luxury goods. And it's also the time of the cash register, which I think is also interesting that it's just like 80 years that we have the cash register. Then 1970, the big box retail started in the States. First Walmart's opened, followed by Kmart and Target. And their customers could actually find all the consumer goods that they needed at a much lower price. So it was more this idea of figuring out how can I address a different target group with a lower price point. 1990 is the big decade of online shopping. I think we all forgot that it's just like 15 or 16 years ago that online shopping was actually born. Amazon was established and sells its first book in 95. And then mobile payments in unlimited numbers of vending machines started to evolve. And that was also the time when brick and mortar stores, when I say brick and mortar stores, I actually mean retail stores that are freestanding, brands doubled their online sales to a total of 20 billion. Almost 59% of retail sales are made online. That's because it's more convenient and more efficient shopping experience. So that was a time when kind of visual merchandising was born. So stores saw a more immediate need to show their product in a better way and to really sell it to their customer and promote it to their customer rather than just showing it in their window and showing it in their store. 2000 was a time of social media boom. Facebook started launching business pages, and the first Apple store opened. So now we are trying to figuring out a multi-channel idea, which is 2020. So of course the last 2 years were very difficult for retail in general. But in Germany, we had to close, I think, after 6 months, retail stores. So that was, of course, a difficult time. But retail is still very, very important. And although online shopping is still growing very rapidly, retail sales in a whole are still higher than the online sales. Customers are hungry for online shopping experience. Retailers are trying to figure out a way to engage their customers and get them into the store. So we really have to think about 360-degree marketing, because I think we all know this idea that we are on our phones or we are online and we see the brand and we see the branding of the brand, and then we would like to have the same experience actually in our retail store. I think that's also very key to know that it has to be consistent, the whole marketing journey of a customer with your brand.